Hey Mr. Jacob, this video is for you because I miss us cooking. And it's really different lighting here. Let's see. Okay. So anyway, I'm making a rice dish with leftover rice because you know Mama doesn't like to throw away good food. There's a lot of hungry people in the world, and it is important that we utilize what is still good in our fridge with leftover. And so I am going to go over some things that Mama taught you. This is not professional video, okay, but I'm trying. Okay, so I'm gonna remind you how we do the celery here. We're going to go ahead and just crack this like so, and then see how the little strings, the little veins, I like to take most of them out so it's easier to cut. Okay, and then we come, it's already been rinsed, you know, just like so, and then you come from the other end. Then at this point you go ahead and I don't know if you can see. It's bad lighting in here. But anyway. I miss you, son. I miss us cooking together. And I miss Mr. Alexander in the background doing his artwork. You know? So the lighting in the camera is probably, I don't know, but the lighting in here is not great right now. But I'm doing the best I can, okay? I miss you and I love you. So I hope you guys are cooking. You and Ashley, I hope you guys are cooking good. So this is a bell pepper. The bell pepper, the way I like to do the bell pepper is I like to get the seeds out of it. I don't like any seeds in the dish because seeds are not good for our gut. So I know that for some dishes, you know, you like the especially if it's a spicy pepper, some people like the seeds and the veins because that's where the heat is. But in this case, these are sweet bell peppers. So I've already taken out the seeds and the veins from the inside, and we're just gonna dice it as small as possible. We're going to dice it as small as possible. So I'm going to show you what I have going on so far. I'm going to see if I can pull this off because it's very tricky when you're trying to do all this yourself. Oh, okay. It's very tricky because sometimes we have to shine our own light, you know, because we have to send a positive message that's from our own, you know, from within. And but anyway, I think I overcooked my carrots a little bit, but I like to have my carrots cooking in there to start with in the olive oil because we want the vegetables that take the longest to cook first. So anyway, I've got my carrots in here, and I've got a good amount of olive oil because we want to add all of these veggies in here. So, you know, Mama likes her turmeric because turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory, and turmeric just makes everything taste better. Like it has a very earthy, you know, flavor. And then I'm going to do a little bit of cayenne for color and for flavor. And what we're doing is spicing up the oil now. because we're getting ready to add our vegetables, but we don't want to overcook our vegetables because, you know, Mama doesn't like to overcook the vegetables. So we've got pepper, black pepper, and a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt. Okay? So I've already finely diced the onions. These are purple onions because purple adds a prettier color to the whole dish. If you've got purples and reds and oranges and yellows, it just makes the whole thing really bright and pretty. So we've got finely diced onions in there. And then we've got our bell peppers that are finely diced bell peppers here. And these are like all the different colors bell peppers, okay? Okay, here we go. Sorry. So I wish that I had a better camera to show you because I miss you and I want you to cook. Cook all the time because you are such a good cook. And we've got the celery, and that's finely cut and deveined because the string stuff makes it, you know, not appealing when it comes to rice, right? So, and I already have my garlic that's, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is like, you know, just at the end. You want to add it at the end because the garlic burns really fast. So you want to add it at the end. And then we're just going to stir everything up. Like so. I'm going to take a picture with my camera. I'm going to take a photo because the colors are so much brighter. Now, one thing that I learned from the Food Network, I believe it was Sarah Moulton, because she's like one of my favorite chefs, Sarah Moulton does not like to waste food either. And she taught that when your lettuce, your spring lettuce that you buy from the grocery store, she does not prefer this, but this is like when you're in a hurry and you want to put dinner together for the family, because she likes everything from scratch. But anyway, if you have leftover lettuce that's about to go bad, or even if it hasn't gone bad, you can add the lettuce, the multicolored lettuce, and then it has different textures, different types of lettuce. And you can cook this lettuce because it has arugula, you know, sometimes it has spinach and other hardier type of like purpley lettuce. And all of that adds nutritional value to the dish. It's almost like bok choy-ish, you know, but this is a multi-ethnic rice. This is not an Asian rice, even though it's inspired by the Asian people. I like how Asian people like to repurpose, you know, their food. They don't like to waste anything. They use like 100%, just about 100% of everything, and that's very important because we live in a society here in the West. I'm not saying everybody, because I feel like there's a change coming on. There's a shift, you know, that's beginning from our heart, that people are having a conscience, like, oh, we need to be more conscientious and with the environment, with how we're doing our business. And this is, every time we waste food, we have to think about the people that are out there in the streets looking for food in the trash. So if you have food that's left over that you don't want to eat the next day, before it goes bad, if it's freezable, by all means freeze it. And if it's something that can be taken to the shelter, that's still good, because you don't want to donate food that's gone bad. You want to do it before it goes bad. So this, you want to wilt it down, but not super wilted, okay? See? you want to start wilting it down, but not super wilted. So, okay, while this is cooking, I'm going to turn it down a little bit, because I have a little bit of ADD, and because I'm trying to be the camera person here. Because like I said, sometimes we have to shine our own light, because that way we can say what we mean, and mean what we say without anybody misinterpreting. So our mushrooms, there's a really good doctor, Dr. Bush. He has taught us about how much food that has like dirt on it is not necessarily bad, because he talks about how we have really ruined our immunity and our guts and everything, because we're like super clean with the food, but it has to be, you know, from good source. It has to be preferably organic, you know, otherwise why would you want to eat like yucky dirt? You know what I mean? It has to be a good dirt, because not all dirt is the same. No. Okay. So we've got this mushroom, and I learned from the Food Network a long time ago. I can't remember the chef, but these are really good tips that we learned from the Food Network. And basically, you take a mushroom and you don't rinse it, because when you rinse the mushroom, you are ruining it. It gets all mushy, and you don't want mushrooms not doing their job. You want them nice and firm and spongy when it goes in the food. You know what I mean. Okay, so we've got a mushroom, and we just like clean the dirt off of it. And we're just gonna, you know, cut it up. You don't need to see me cutting up mushrooms. We're gonna dice it, you know, however you want. So, anyway, lately I've been watching videos on remineralizing the teeth, because I've noticed that in this past year, since I've lived here, I have been working, I guess, in the room that has very little lighting, and the shadow of this bottom tooth, because the tooth is translucent, the shadow makes the tooth look dark, and it's really, you cannot see this tooth right here. I'm not touching it because I'm handling food. This tooth right here, it's a little bit inward. The top teeth are straight, but the bottom teeth are a little crooked, and they've always been that way. But now that I'm older, I have, that tooth is getting more translucent, and I'm like, it really shows off when it's low lighting. It shows off in like a shadow. So I'm just like, that's got to be not healthy. So I am going to try to get my teeth straightened, but that's not the priority right now. The priority is getting my son here with me, my Alexander, wherever I'm at. I need my son Alexander with me. So straightening my teeth is not the priority. The priority is to keep the teeth clean, and also to make sure that that tooth is remineralized, as well as the whole mouth remineralized. So I've been looking into, you know, toothpaste that has, you know, all the good stuff in it. And I've noticed that even commercial toothpaste, like Crest and Colgate, have come out with these new toothpaste that has like coconut oil, you know, and stuff like that. And we need to be having more, you know, using more toothpaste that has aloe vera, coconut oil, because these are antibacterial, but also looking for things that have neem oil, cinnamon, you know, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove. These kind of ingredients are ideal for toothpaste, for oral care. And so I've noticed that even our commercial toothpaste now are into making healthier, more natural mouthwash and such. So thank you all for that. So now we're coming back here to the food before it burns. So we've got, we're gonna add our mushrooms, And we're just going to so very lightly coat it. Just so very lightly. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get my egg, because egg is a complete protein. And if it's an organic egg, of course we know that, especially when it comes to milk, all dairy, eggs, and you know, of course, dairy, cheeses, milk, all of that, and meats, in eggs, preferably if they are, you know, organic, because, you know, it's just important that we consume things that that are not loaded with hormones and antibiotics, because that's no way to treat the animal, for one, and for two, it's not good for our bodies, because we are what we eat. So I'm going to go get my eggs, and I'm going to crack it. I have tried cracking it directly on the pan, but depending on the shell, sometimes the shell is too brittle or whatever, you know. But anyway, it ends up with shells in the pan, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to scramble my eggs separately, but it really doesn't matter, however what you want to do it. If you're a good egg cracker, do it directly on the pan. I'll be right back. So I've been shopping at Aldi's, and this is my local grocery store here. It's called Aldi's, ALDI, and they have really affordable organic. Almost everything in their stores organic, and almost everything is, like, you know, without artificial colors and flavors. In fact, most of their stuff is no artificial colors and flavors and organic. So I like to rinse my eggs. I'm doing like one egg per person, so that they get a complete, you know, protein. But if I'm just doing like scrambled eggs, I like to do 3 if I'm doing for 2 people, or 4 for 3 people. I just add an extra egg per person, basically. But for this dish, because it's so crowded, you saw the pan, how crowded it is, I am going to just add 2. And I am going to, what I'm going to do, because this pan is so crowded, I'm going to take the filling out, and I'm going to go ahead and take my rice and start coating my rice with some of that seasoned oil, and then make room for the egg. But I just like to do this with leftover food, and I'm going to keep filming, because I want to send a message to my son Jacob and my son Alexander, whom I miss very much. Because I am a mama. I'm not a model. I've never claimed to be a model, you know, but I like to, you know, do the best I can with what I have, you know. And if God has given me intelligence, I'm going to use my God-given intelligence to help humanity. You know, if God did not give me other things, that's fine. I'm not bitter about it. I am happy with what I have. God has given me intelligence, limited intelligence, but together we are the human intelligence. Woo! Praise the Lord. Yes, I am so happy for that, because we are gathering all this intelligence. What are we going to do with all this intelligence? Well, God is gathering us. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Let's see how full that is. We are going to bring it over here to the side. And I'm going to turn this back up a little bit, and I'm going to add this olive oil. Again, this is organic olive oil. I don't have to try hard to find things that are organic at Aldi's. This is like under $5, and it smells amazing. Okay, so a good amount in there, and I'm going to start with the rice before I add the egg, because I kind of have to coat the rice because it's been in the refrigerator. This is basmati rice. My favorite rice is basmati because of the texture of it. It's long grain, and it cooks super fast. But you can use whatever rice you have left over. Like if you order Chinese and you have leftover white rice, that's really good. I mean, you can't just leave the rice there like 2 weeks and then expect it to not be growing something. No, that's not healthy. You have to do it within the next day or two, okay? Otherwise, you're going to be getting sick, and you don't want to do that. Like I said, if you ever have, food that's still good, that you're like, you know what, I'm not going to eat that the next day or whatever, because you're one of those people who can afford to eat out, and you don't want to have food in the refrigerator going bad, by all means, before it goes bad, take it to the local shelter. Call before you go and ask them what they take. Or whenever you go to the grocery store and you are buying canned food for preparing for a hurricane or preparing for whatever weather, because we should, we should always be prepared. And, but anyway, pick a couple of extra canned goods, and whenever you're stocking your pantry, make sure that you're rotating, just like at the grocery store, that you're rotating your food, your goods, so that you don't have expired things that are just going to waste. And you certainly don't want to be donating expired food to the churches and to the shelters either. But when you go grocery shopping and you're stocking up on your canned goods, by all means, think about the people that are in the shelter that could, use a soup or beans or what have you. So stock up and add a couple extra cans in there of whatever you can afford. It doesn't have to be fancy, just whatever generic, nutritious, unexpired food, and take it to the local shelter. And if you go with the children will learn as you're doing. If you go to the children to the recycling center, the children will do as you're teaching them. And when Jacob and Alexander too, and they're 11 years apart, but when Jacob was little, him and I used to go all the way across the bridge, because we lived in Ocean Springs. We had to drive all the way to Biloxi to Keesler Air Force Base to recycle our trash. And then when Alexander was about that age, we used to go, in Mobile they have an excellent recycling center. So basically my rice now is a little yellow, all natural from the olive oil, with all of those spices that I added earlier. And so you have a beautiful, natural, flavorful yellow rice. If you just wanted to do this without any of the vegetables for some special occasion, you see, that little bit of turmeric goes a long way. And so anyway, I'm going to be talking about remineralizing my teeth, because it's something that is important. We've got to take care of the whole body as best we can. And I have not been, eating the healthiest. I drink a lot of coffee. That is my thing. That is a bad habit. I do drink coffee. And, but the translucency is not from drinking coffee. That's just because something's going on that I need to put back in my body. So I've scrambled my egg. If the egg ever has anything in there that's kind of, that you don't want in the egg, like maybe some shells or some little blood spot or something, you can always strain it. You can always strain it. I like to add a little bit of water to my egg, and I'll show you why. Just a tiny little bit of water to the egg, and then you scramble it. My grandma taught me this, because it makes it for a fluffier, less eggy taste product, end result, instead of milk, because the milk makes it milky. But you want water when it comes to these kind of situations. So I made a little well, like the Chinese chef's do. And just put it in the middle. You do want to season that egg with a little bit of salt. Just a little bit of salt because you've already seasoned everything. The rice is already seasoned from when you cooked it earlier. So you just basically put it on medium high and let that egg start to kind of set. When it starts to set, then you want to stir it gently, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Fold it. Fold it. Because you don't want this egg to get all soupy, and you don't want that. You just want to start folding it so that the egg has some texture in there, okay? So you have that on kind of high, medium high, or what have you. You know, and then just fold it every now and then. So this is for you too, Mr. Alexander, because Mama misses you, Pochichis. We used to get on the counter when Alexander was about 6 years old. We used to get on the counter and he used to help me make sandwiches. And we would make every day. It was like a little routine. We would make these sandwiches after homeschooling. And he would ask me, Mom, what is this? And I would say, well, this is and I'm not a big salami person or ham, but you know, we would buy the different meats, lunch meats that are nitrate free and organic or whatever from the store. And then he asked me what that was, and he said, well, where does it come from? And I said, from pig. And he said, oh, no, I don't want salami. But then he turns around and wants pepperoni on his pizza. So he's definitely not a vegetarian. But I try to buy, you know, when I buy those kind of cured meats, I try to buy them so that they're like the healthiest possible. You know, if possible, without hormones, without, you know, whatever. So to each his own. But then he asked me, well, what is that ham? Where does it come from? And I told him from pig. And he said, oh, no, I don't want that. It comes from pig. And, but then he wants pepperoni on his pizza. So, he also does not like cheese in his sandwiches, but he likes macaroni and cheese. And he likes cheese in his pizza, of course. So anyway, we don't want to overcook this to death because we want the egg to still be kind of soft, and you know, we don't want the egg super hard and dry. No. So, we're going to turn this down, and now that everything's pretty much cooked, we're just going to put it together. So this is a good thing that you can do with your leftovers. Like if you have lettuce that's starting to wilt, you know, either fresh or like this, that, you know, that the family just couldn't go through it fast enough. You know, just with little ingredients like inexpensive onions and inexpensive garlic and whatever oil you have. If you have olive oil, that will be great. If you have coconut oil or whatever oil you have that you can afford. Some people like butter. I mean, whatever you want to do. But I like olive oil. That's just my preference. You know, and basically you don't have any wrong way of doing it. You can just use whatever vegetables, you know, that are still, you know, even if they're not fresh, you can mix the fresh and the not so fresh that are still have some nutritional value. You don't want to be putting in stuff that's going to make the whole dish, you know, not nutritious. Okay? And you also don't want to cook the vegetables to death. Okay? And, but anyway, I think I overcooked mine today because it's challenging. I need to start making more of these videos because I want to leave these good videos for my children, because I'm not all about screaming at the top of my lungs, complaining about life. No, I am a sweet mama. I really am. You know, and I love cooking. And I want, you know, to do the best I can with what God has given me, you know, with my limitations and my abilities, because we all have disabilities and abilities, and I have certainly more disabilities than abilities, but by all means, I want to do the best I can within my time here on earth to do the best I can for my children and their children, because I may not be here forever physically, but the children are our future. You see? The children are our future, and they're going to be taking care of us when we get old, and they're going to be taking care of our earth when we go. You know, so what do we want to leave behind for them? Do we want to leave this land all polluted and all with everything that's not good for us for them to inherit? No, it is our responsibility to do the best we can with what we have. And again, I think all of these, you know, grocery stores that are, you know, putting out these wonderful organic products. In fact, like I said, Aldi's, for example, and even Walmart, Publix, Winn-Dixie, a lot of these grocery stores have more and more organic products and natural things with natural colors and no artificial flavors. Like this, for example, this fruit snack has no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, and it has 110% of your daily recommendation for vitamin C. This kind of snack is tasty and is healthy for the children. I mean, if it can be done, this can be done. So we need to, you know, make it our daily goal to make sure that when we go to the grocery store that we make the good choices for ourselves and our children, and they're learning all this stuff, and it's going to be like it's going to be like they're not going to have any bad choices when they go to the grocery store when they get to be our age. There's going to be like no bad choices. It's going to be like this or this other you know, good choice. So the same thing with these tasty snacks. Like I said, I apologize about the lighting. It's really bad in here. I'm not advertising any of this. This is not for advertisement. This is just for me to leave a message, positive message to my child Jacob and my son Alexander. This is vegetable chips. It's all natural vegetable chips and all natural colors and flavors. So if it can be done and is successful, why not just go ahead and do everything like this? And you know what, if you're ever eating something and you look at the ingredients, and they almost always have a website or an 800 number or a physical address, it is so easy, or you can just Google it and look up, you know, how you can contact their customer service. And if you ever are eating something, or your child's eating something that has artificial colors or flavors or artificial preservatives, and you know that it can be done successfully, you know, this way, then give them a call and say, hi, I'm just a concerned mom, a loyal consumer, and I'm just calling regarding this issue, and would you please consider, if you always say please, thank you, and excuse me, I've never had a rude customer service in the years that every now and then I'll make a phone call or contact them via email. I have, thank God, I've never ever had a negative response, because they know, these companies know that we drive their business, so they want to please us. And it's a wonderful thing, because, you know, time goes by super fast, and before we know it, our children are going to be the ones that are grown, and if we don't instill these things in them, then they're not, you know, they're going to be missing out and be left behind, because most of the world is already catching on that this is the way. So thank you for listening. I am not a model. I am not getting paid to advertise anything. If I do it out of the kindness of my heart, because I must. You know, as a mother, I have a responsibility to leave my children a good message. And mama's not always an angry mama. No. I am a good mom, and I'm not perfect. And if I ever offended anybody, I hope that you can forgive me the way that I forgive. On a daily basis, I forgive. And I hope that you can forgive me if I have ever said anything that hurt your feelings. So I hope that we can all start to hurt our feelings less and less each day, and respect one another and treat one another with dignity and respect. I am a 47-year-old mother of two beautiful children. I am not looking for love, but my time here on earth is as long as my Father, wants it to be. If my Father has somebody out there for me who's the right person for the right reasons, I certainly will welcome whatever good things the Father has for me. But I am going to start embracing my life and start shining my light on my message so that it is not misinterpreted. And I know that we all have a good heart inside and that we all have a good message, and I hope that we can all, start shining our own light from within so that nobody misinterprets our message. I hope that we can do this for one another. Thank you, and may God bless you.